welkom terug. Die Nike-aandeleprys het met 36% gestyg sedert Colin Kaepernick die gesig van hul bemarkingsveldtog is. Hoe het dit gebeur en hoe het ons presies daar uitgekom? Voordat ek met Pepe Marais en met Ahmed Tilly hieroor gesels, kyk ons gou na die advertensie.
If people say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do, good. Stay that way. Because what non-believers fail to understand is that calling a dream crazy is not an insult. It's a compliment. Don't try to be the fastest runner in your school or the fastest in the world. Be the fastest ever. Don't picture yourself wearing OBJ's jersey. Picture OBJ wearing yours. Don't settle for homecoming queen or linebacker. Do both. Lose 120 pounds and become an Ironman after beating a brain tumor. Don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. If you're born a refugee, don't let it stop you from playing soccer for the national team at age 16. Don't become the best basketball player on the planet. Be bigger than basketball. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. When they talk about the greatest team in the history of the sport, make sure it's your team. If you have only one hand, don't just watch football, play it at the highest level. And if you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
By my in die ateljee is Pepe Marais van Joke Public en Ahmed Tilly van FCB. Hello, gentlemen. Pepe, when this ad released, it created so much social outrage. Why?
I suppose it's controversial. You know, Colin, I don't know if you know the backstory, but he took a knee when the American anthem was sung. And it was like a petition against all the violence against black people in America at the time. So you'd almost think based on that, there'll be a split camp 50-50. And I think that's why there was controversy, because Nike backed a highly controversial athlete.
Yeah. Ahmed, I want to ask you, the Americans don't just back something, they pride themselves that everything is based on some insight and some polling data. How did Nike make this decision?
I wish I was in the boardroom when that happened. I do think that the Americans in particular depend a lot on data and insights and polling. But I do believe there was a lot of discussion internally about the choice that they made with Colin Kaepernick. And from what I read, apparently the vote was split, so to speak, internally. My suspicion, I wish I had more information on this on the inside, but my suspicion is ultimately it came down to someone in the room believing more than the rest of them and going on largely on gut. Yeah. Because something like this, you cannot imagine would be a clear-cut decision in terms of polling. So
both of you are big creators working on great brands. Do you ever advise your clients to make controversial decisions?
Often. We often do. I mean, yeah, the smile for the truth is in it. I don't think we often enough succeed in getting that level of work through. Because ultimately, that's what great work should do. It should get people to talk about it. Now, interestingly, I went onto the feed, and within a few days, that millions of views. And it was 12-1, the likes versus the non-likes. So I would immediately assume 12 people bought shoes and 1 burnt his shoe. So that's the work that works. You know, I think we need more controversy in the world, more talkability, just more facing facts and issues, like face on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing. We talk about controversy, and it's Pepe will agree. It's probably the word that clients get most scared of by. But reframing it is brave. And brave sometimes is not necessarily controversial, but is, you know, we were talking about it earlier. It's category redefining, and because it's uncharted, brave is what you need to break through anything in business, in entrepreneurship, in everything. If there isn't a certain amount of braveness or risk at it, there can't be any great reward. And so, yeah, we encourage our clients. I think all the creatives tend to want to encourage clients to do the brave thing, to break out of it, because it's actually to do something that's safe is just a waste of money.
Yeah. So, Pepe, why aren't South African brands more brave?
I've got a sense that, you know, when you're dealing with entrepreneurial clients where the owner is almost the marketing director, there's more bravery because you're dealing with the person who manages the purse strings. I find there's a lot of fear, and it's no one's fault. I'm not blaming anyone. There's a lot of fear in the world. You know, we're afraid of losing our jobs. We're afraid of making the wrong decisions. We're afraid of... There's fear, and fear actually stops you from... Fear is an emotion. It stops you from thinking. I think the bravest thing to do is to fill the media space, which is the most expensive cost for marketing, to fill that with great work.
Ahmed, are there any South African brands that you can say that these guys are brave brands, they're willing to stand for something at least? Because South African brands tend to not stand for anything. Would you agree?
Well, I don't completely agree, but I mean, I think we do have famous examples of brands that have stood for something. Obviously, Nando's comes to mind. Everyone, viewers will also be thinking Nando's immediately. And I mean, I think it's interesting that, again, similar to that, the entrepreneur, the founder, Robbie Brosen, and you know, when he started out, he had the entrepreneurial spirit, and he set the pace for Nando's. And he was very smart because he understood that, you know, to break or to beat or to fight against the big players, he needed to do something brave enough for everyone to stand up and notice. So there's this thing about having high impact. The smaller your budget, the higher the impact. Yeah. And otherwise, you're not going to compete at all. And I think, yeah, that's one of the examples. There are others. It seems, we were discussing it earlier, it seems that the owner or the guys at the top tend to be more willing to go there than people slightly lower down on the risk. And I think that they tend to have more to risk. So I'll say a little controversial thing. I think that marketers are more afraid of losing their 13th check. Yeah. I think their KPIs are designed in such a way, perhaps that it's more designed around not losing as opposed to winning.
We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to continue this discussion. Ons neem 'n vinnige advertensie breek en is nou weer terug as ons verder oor reklame en storievertelling gaan gesels. Bly ingeskakel.